Good evening and welcome to tonight's original news. We begin with a story from Jamaica. George Williams had his first meal in 50 years outside of prison walls on Wednesday after a St. Catherine's Circuit Court judge upheld a notice of abandonment in his murder case. Freedom time was all the gray-haired Williams could manage to say as he emerged from the courthouse flanked by his niece Pamela Green, brother Aldwin Jones, and lawyer Isad Buchanan. The 71-year-old Williams had spent 50 years in custody without trial. Jones said the first thing he wanted to do for his elder brother was to buy him a proper meal. The null prosequi submission was made by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, was expected as Williams had languished in the penal system for an extraordinarily long time, his attorney said. Williams was facing one count each of murder, malicious destruction of property, and wounding with intent charges stemming from an incident in 1970. He was arrested and charged with the killing of a Canadian man during a violent attack on a man's family while they drove through his hometown of Ivy District in St. Catherine. And now for news from Haiti. President Jovenel Moïse has pardoned 415 prisoners in a bid to reduce overcrowding at prisons across the country, as a senior United Nations official said that the French-speaking Caribbean community CARICOM country had experienced an overall increase in gang-related and criminal activity during the first 6 months of the year. A government statement said that Moïse had exercised his right to pardon and commute sentences and issued the official order releasing the 415 ordinary prisoners from 17 penitentiaries across the country. He noted that the prisoners were also being released due to the coronavirus COVID-19 that has killed 80 people and infected more than 5,000 others. And finally, for news from Trinidad and Tobago. Relatives of missing Carnage businessman Kunki Bihari Jaisari, 64, have already concluded the worst after a man's body was found buried in concrete in an 8-foot grave at Old Milford Road, Lowlands, Tobago. The gruesome find was made by police around 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, but investigators remain tight-lipped about the identity of the corpse. A police source said that the body was clad in a dark-colored underwear and a multicolored striped t-shirt. Officials refused to reveal the state of the composition of the body when contacted on Wednesday. Jaisari was last seen on June 4 and was reported missing at the Carnage police station on June 7 after relatives were unable to contact him. He reportedly went to Tobago on business but was not seen again. Jaisari's brother Bobby said the clothing on the corpse and the area where the body was found were no coincidence, hinting that his brother knew the killers. Bobby said the Tobago police have already contacted the family and the body will be sent to Trinidad for identification. Asked whether his brother had any enemies, Bobby said, I quote, "Not that we know of, but when you're a businessman and you have your possession in cash, you can have a lot of enemies," end of quote. According to Bobby, the father of 4 owned a taxi service, a mini-mart, auto parts store, a garage, apartment buildings, and was part owner of a guest house in Tobago. That was all for tonight's original news. Thank you for joining us. Back to you, Travis.